What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Celio's Network. Today I have something I know a lot of you have been waiting for, which is my Sword and Shield standard deck list spreadsheet. So the purpose of this spreadsheet is for it to be a resource to the community. So let's say a player wants to build a Frostmoth deck, you can come to this spreadsheet and see at least one other Frostmoth deck that a player has made, one of the sources of this spreadsheet has made, and you can have a good starting spot for your deck. So there will be a 60 for all relevant archetypes I believe I've covered, and I've covered a ton of rogue variants and archetypes as well. There are several archetypes in this list that have multiple lists, so there's multiple Pika-Rom lists, multiple Zacian lists, multiple Frostmoth lists, just because those are popular archetypes right now that people want to see a variety of. But I have 50 different deck lists in this spreadsheet, PTCGO export, so you can just easily copy them and paste them into PTCGO. So maximum convenience, that's the key here. I want there to be a convenient resource that's easy to use, and you can get any kind of deck you want really from here to at least start off. So something to keep in mind is the goal is not for all of these decks to be perfect, right? We're in 1 week since release of Sword and Shield at the time I'm recording this video, so I want there to be a good starting point for most decks, for people out there that want a good starting point. Like, it's not even a skeleton, it is a full 60 for all of these decks. So I'm sure these decks will become less and less optimal as the weeks go on, and I may be updating this spreadsheet. I haven't decided yet, so I'm going to show you guys how to use the spreadsheet. So over here in column A, we have all the archetypes listed. So if you just scroll down, you can see all of the archetypes in alphabetical order that are in the spreadsheet. And then over here in column C, we have the source of the list. And so you know who made the list or where the list came from. And then right here, we have all of the sources credited throughout the spreadsheet. So just shout out real quick to everybody but myself, which is right up the top. Talonite X, Omnipoke, Limitless TCG, Azul GG, Trainer Chip, Tablemon, Rare Candy, Little Dark Fury, and Loch Nugan. Sorry, there was a little stutter there in the recording, but I think that should be fine. But yeah, so all of these people, I have lists from these sources, and those are in the spreadsheet, so I wanted to make sure I gave credit where credit is due, and you can find most of these people or their channels, websites, and Twitters in this little box here. And here I have to contribute to future versions of this spreadsheet and an expanded spreadsheet for the future of deck lists by submitting your deck list here. So that's a form I have where you can submit your deck lists so we can make a community spreadsheet of deck lists, especially for expanded, which I know a lot of people want to start working on expanded. And we'll get to that before the end of the video. So over here, like I said, column A, the 50 archetypes, variants, decks that I have lists for, and then that's sheet 1. So if we go over to sheet 2 here by clicking on deck lists at the bottom left, these are where all of the deck lists are actually stored. So it's in alphabetical order, the same way that the decks column is, so you know if your deck is there, and then you can just go look for it. Of course, like I said, it's in alphabetical order. Now let's say you find a deck over here that you're interested in trying a list out for. Let's say Morpeko V dolls. So that's under Morpeko V dolls. So we go over to the M's in the spreadsheet. It's right here. So we'll just select all of the cells by clicking Shift, holding Shift and clicking to select, or you can just hold and drag all the way down if that's easier for you. And then either right click to copy or Control C or Command C, and then open up your PTCGO, go to Deck Manager, and click Import, and there you go. You have a Morpeko V archetype to start out with. There's your list for the Morpeko V dolls archetype. This one's from Tablemon. So yeah, the goal is just for you to have a very convenient resource, and this is the easiest way to do it. I think having PTCGO exports is a really great way to do the spreadsheet. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory from there on. If you find a deck that you want, you go and copy the export and put it into PTCGO. From there, let me show you guys the form that I mentioned. So like I said here, to contribute to future versions of the spreadsheet and an expanded spreadsheet of deck lists, you can submit your deck lists here. So this is what the form will look like if you click that link right here in the contribute cell. So Sword and Shield deck list submission, submit your Sword and Shield deck lists for Luke Morse's community Pokemon TCG deck list spreadsheet. And this is just a link back to the spreadsheet. So it's just 3 short questions. Is the deck you're submitting to me standard or expanded? Here you will answer your name. So my name is Luke Morse. My channel is Celio's Network. And my Twitter is at Celio's Network. So you would just type that in there. And of course, you don't have to share your name. You don't have to have a channel. You don't have to have a Twitter. But if you want credit for your deck list, just type it in there. And then here you will just we'll just use Tablemon's Morpeko V. You'll just paste a PTCGO export right here for me, and then click submit. And as long as I am collecting a fair amount of deck lists for the expanded spreadsheet, we'll be doing a community expanded spreadsheet of deck lists. And like I said, I would like to potentially keep updating this standard deck list spreadsheet and potentially making it maybe look a little fancier for the next set in the near future, or even for this set. But as tournaments start happening, Limitless TCG will have all of their tournament results with their deck lists, and we'll have deck lists everywhere, right? It's like right now when the set just came out is when you really need something like this. So that's kind of what this spreadsheet's function is going to be. I would like to make one every time a new set comes out within like the first week or so of release, when people are really looking for new decks and old decks, and just they need lists to start themselves building this deck that they want to build. Furthermore, like I said, I've tried to add a nice variety of decks. I also tried not to add too many of specific decks. So like we don't have 10 ADP Zacian lists in here, because you just need one to start yourself out with. And I've also tried to include a fair amount of more rogue decks. So you'll see things like Noctowl, things like Sea King Control, things like Torkoal V based decks. So it's trying to get a lot of ideas in here for people that might need rogue ideas. Like I was searching YouTube and I couldn't find any Noctowl lists. I couldn't find any Copper Raja lists. So I wanted to make sure I was getting those into here. So I did have to make a lot of these lists from scratch myself. And those are the ones that are credited to me. And if I just copy and pasted it from someone else, then I credited that channel or that Twitter or whatever. Of course, here, just quick little shout out to my sponsor. If you click that link there, it'll take you to potownstore.com, which is my personal favorite place to get PTCGO codes, and I'm very happy to be working with them. You can use code Celio for 5% off there. I just wanted to get that little quick shout out of the way there, and make sure you know where that link is taking you, where it says get PTCGO codes here. And don't forget to use my code. It helps you out, and it also helps the channel out. And I also write free weekly articles at flipsidegaming.com, and you can use my code Celio, all caps, there for 10% off of your next order, $10 or more. And I will have the link to this spreadsheet in the description below. I'll make sure it's public for anyone to view, but you can't edit it. I believe if you wanted to, you could just click file, make a copy up here if you wanted to make your own, but I may lock that just so people do have to visit the original that has the link to the form and everything for that. And I do suggest or encourage you to check out the source that you got your list from. So if you let's see, used Little Dark Fury, Snorlax, VMAX, Porygon Z, go ahead and drop them a subscribe on their YouTube. One function I forgot to mention, just because it's a function of every sheet, you can just go into here and click Control F, and let's say you wanted to look for decks using Cramorant V. So just type in the beginning of the Pokemon's name, and you'll see every deck that includes Cramorant V in it. There's 6 of them, and then just click the arrows and it'll take you there. So if you're interested in one Pokemon or one trainer, or let's see how many of these decks are using how many of this card, you can do that just by clicking Control F or Command F. I'm not really sure what the non-shortcut way to do that is. Oh, here, find and replace. Yeah, just use Control F or Command F. That's the easiest way to do it. I don't even know the long hand way to do it because I always just use the shortcut. So that's really nifty if you wanted to see what decks are using what Pokemon, or you're looking for a deck with a specific Pokemon in it. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Like I said, the link to this spreadsheet will be down in the description below. I'd appreciate if you tell your friends about the spreadsheet, and also tell everyone about submitting for the expanded spreadsheet in the near future, and also for possible updates of this standard spreadsheet. And subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the content and you want to see more in the future. Follow me on Twitter at Celios_network, and I'll see you next time here on Celios Network.